Alright everybody, this is the Mini Prepper coming to you with a couple of knives here and a follow-up review. I have the Ozark Trail wood clip knife and the Ontario Rat 1 OD green in D2 steel. So we're going to talk about the Ozark Trail knife first. Get both of these open here. Now this, as I said, is a follow-up review. Did a couple months ago. Wanted to test these out, see how they held up. Now, the Ozark Trail knife, this thing held up great. I can't believe how well it held up. You can see the blades a little dirtied up there for sure. But, I carried this only at work just because, well, it's a $4 knife. And where I work at, there was a lot of graphite and a lot of things like that. So I didn't really care what happened to this knife. Didn't want to take this one to work and, really beat the heck out of it. You know how it is when you got a knife that you really like. So, but this one, surprisingly, as I said, it held up great. I expected that blade to just die very quickly. Probably have to sharpen it every day. And, that wasn't the case. Did a lot of cutting at work with this thing. Did, cardboard and cutting air hoses and everything. And it held up really good. I believe the blade's even still centered. So really happy with this knife. For $4, absolutely. This knife's a winner. And what's nice with this too, if you happen to work in an office setting, you don't have to worry about when you pull this knife out that people are going to go running, screaming, thinking you're going to murder them or anything. Obviously you can see the difference in size here between these two knives. This one here is just, it's just not murdery looking, so you don't have to worry about anybody getting scared. Jimping up here, it's still barely, I think I said in the review, it's not too good. It's barely usable, but at least it's there. Still opens and closes just fine. Pocket clip, still okay. It's a bit too tight, but I mean, again, that's easily fixable. I just never wound up doing it. So that is the Ozark Trail knife. Definitely worth the $4 for sure. If you're even kind of considering getting it, just get it. It's a great beater knife. I mean, I even used it to make some shavings for a fire. I did have to sharpen it, but it held an edge way longer than I thought it was going to. Again, I just expected this thing to dull if you tried to cut air, and it held up. It held up pretty good. This one and the Ozark Trail Tan Flipper are probably, as far as I'm concerned, the only two good knives from Ozark Trail. Really not impressed with the rest of them, but this one's okay. I like this one. So now let's move on to the Rat 1 in D2 steel. This one is great. Still holding an edge, although we're going to test it on some paper here. Actually, both of them. But as far as, I haven't cut any paper with it, but cut cardboard with it. I think really what I mostly use this for, just because I didn't want to beat the crap out of this knife, was food prep. Tomatoes, cucumbers, even cut some chicken with it. before I cooked it. Little thick, trying to, when I cut, or when I eat an apple, I usually cut slices off of it. This is a little thick for it. It wants to more break the apple, kind of, when you're cutting it instead of slicing through it. But it still works. It's actually good for general food prep. Aside from that, though, I mean, it's definitely a good knife. And at the $38.95 that I paid for it, I really think this is one of the best knives, budget knives, that's out there. Get the whole thing in here. As I had said in the previous review, pocket clip, 4-way, tip up, tip down, right, left. Pocket clip already started to scratch up a little bit. I'm not sure if that was already scratched up in my first review, but it's it's kind of like the Spyderco Delica, or I believe the Endura pocket clips. They're just going to scratch up, so if that's something that's kind of going to be an issue, you can always take this off, get the paint off of there, and put it back on. The only, two gripes I do have with this knife, and I believe I mentioned it in the other review, was the lock. While it looks like there's enough there to kind of get, it is a bit difficult. It wants to chew your thumb up when you disengage it. The other problem that I didn't realize until I really started using it, because I did go ahead and make some curls or shavings to start a fire with it, just to try it, which it just went through the wood no problem, was the jimping up here. It's more aggressive than what I realized. It definitely, if you're going to be hard cutting for a while with this, it's gonna chew your thumb up a bit. That's probably the biggest gripe I have, aside from the lock. This is not a knife to sit there and just fidget with and flip open and close, flip open and close. It's gonna tear your thumbs up. These weren't too bad. That didn't bother me too much. It was really the jimping up here and the lock. So, but let's see. Let's try a little bit of paper here and see if either one of these will still cut. This one, I don't know if I can even get this into the camera here. Yeah, well, a little bit. Not really. All right, let's try this guy here. I'll cut myself. Yeah, this one is still cut. Ain't too easy to keep in this camera here, though. Oh yeah, this one still cuts just fine. So, this one, not so much. But, I was, actually, I was just, probably right before this video, probably about 10 minutes before this video, I had to cut up a little bit of cardboard, and I used the Ozark Trail knife, and it was still cutting it. It's not going to cut paper now, I guess, but it still at least was able to cut some cardboard. This one here, no problem still. The D2 is still holding up. This is just such a good knife. Like I said, though, that jimping, you might have to break out the Dremel tool or something and kind of, do a little bit of work on that. Maybe it won't be so bad, but other than that, again, both of these definitely worth the money. I think you're going to be happy with either one. You know, if you're on a crazy budget, crazy low budget, this Ozark Trail, absolutely worth it. Even the wood held up. That I can see, there is no cracking or anything or splitting. No. That right there, that was the way it was, I believe, when I got it. It's not really a split or anything. But, yeah, the wood held up. So that's good. Yeah, these are definitely worth it, guys. Both of them. Absolutely. All right. Well, this is the Mini Prepper, and I am out of here.